Alrighty. Thank you, everybody, for making it to my talk. Really appreciate, guys. So we're gonna get right started. So my talk is Japanese video game music demystified, a guide to analyzing and composing like the masters, which I'm sure all of us want to do. Who here is a fan of Japanese video game music? Raise your hand. Woohoo! All of us. All right, so I'm going to tell you how it all works and how you can compose like the masters. All right, so a little bit about myself. I am a composer, performer, and educator. My name's Eric, obviously. Eric, and I do film scoring, video game scoring, and also concert music. I'm an incoming grad student at the Bob Cole Conservatory in Cal State Long Beach. And I'm also a video game music composition instructor who's taught many courses on video game music. Also, I'm a mentor at the International Game Developers Association. So previously, I've taught a course called Writing Japanese Video Game Music at San Francisco State University in fall of 2021. This was a course where any student could teach any sort of topic. So I just went ahead and was like, there aren't any courses on how to study, analyze, and compose the music that I love, so I'm gonna teach it. So we went through a just pretty rigorous curriculum where we just went through pretty much one major title per week, with titles like Castlevania, Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, Silent Hill, Dew Prism, Final Fantasy, Touhou, orchestral stuff, just like across the board. It was just a survey of a lot of video game titles and genres. And then the summer afterwards, which was last summer, I taught the Video Game Music Boot Camp, now called the Japanese Video Game Music Boot Camp. So I had a lot of students from Berklee College of Music taking my classes, and I also had students across the United States and a couple of international students as well. And actually, I'm currently in the middle of teaching my the second boot camp right now. I'm gonna go back home today and teach and prepare for my lecture for tomorrow. So we're right smack in the middle of it, coming out here to give this talk. So I'm gonna start off by making this comparison between composing, and cooking. It really is one and the same. So why do we analyze music? Well, first off, I'm sure we all want to understand how it works. We want to break things down and just understand the music we love. That's why we go to these YouTube channels and just watch video game music theory. But when you're analyzing, as a composer, when you're analyzing or breaking down someone else's work into their core elements, you're learning how they specifically cook their dish and what ingredients they used. And by having an in-depth understanding of their processes, their tools, and the ingredients that they're using, you can also learn how to use those same strategies to create your own dishes. So, how do we study video game music literature? So anyone have any ideas? What sort of sources do we have to study this music? Because we don't have a lot of original scores like classical music where it's handwritten. This is a sort of an electric art form. So what sources do we have to study VGM? Anyone? Yeah.
A lot of early video games use sequence music, so you can extract the actual sequences from the game and turn them into MIDIs to analyze.
Yep, exactly. Anything else? Yeah.
Published journal articles on ludomusicology.
Yep. Yeah. Transcribing. Anything else? All right. So much like jazz, all of our sources are basically fan-made. So they're all online, basically. They're all floating around. But I've identified 5 main sources we can use to do score study in the same way we would in a jazz course or a classical music course. So first method, lead sheets. There's a website called vgleadsheets.com, which some of you might have heard of, and that's that's probably the most extensive resource for fan-made transcriptions, and they're quite good, really accurate. And much in the same way we would analyze these tunes in jazz music, we do the same thing with VGM. The next source is piano arrangements, and these can come in the form of official piano books that you can buy off of Amazon, or even just fan-made transcriptions as well, like this one for Silent Hill. Whoops. Third method. This is a relatively new source material because I invented it. It's called a form chart. And what it is for pieces that have really regular phrase structure and basically music that is written in 8 bars. This is a perfect medium to present the structures of these pieces. So here I have an embodiment of Scarlet Devil, the Lunar Dial by Zune, and you could present this in a sheet music form and transcribe it, or even MIDI, but having it all laid out right here in this form is just an invaluable resource to really grasp the structure of the whole piece at a glance. Here you can see right here the time signature and the section. So there's an A and A prime section. Really, I guess it's one section here, and then there's a B section that not only modulates to a different key, but also the time signature changes to 3/4. And then we come back to C, we go to the C section and it changes key again. And the C, T here means it's transposed in E minor. So we see the key changes, the time signature changes, and also the chords are laid out. The only information that we're lacking now is melody, but that's sort of like a trade-off for the clarity and at a glance understanding of the whole piece. And if we wanted the entire, the whole information of a piece, we would turn to MIDI transcriptions. And these are all, again, you can find them online literally if you search like so-and-so title MIDI. And the best resource for that is actually Kingdom Hearts Insider. I think that's the website that's like which has the most extensive MIDI transcriptions. And here, obviously, we do not have the chord symbols. It's not notated, but we get to work with the arrangement. It's all done by ear, and it's the quality can vary, but it's still they're invaluable resources if you can get your hand on them. And finally, the last method is score transcriptions, and these kind of tend to be a little bit less accessible. Like I don't think there's like a whole lot of them compared to the other sources, I guess, aside from form charts. But here you have the music represented in full score notation. Sometimes the chord symbols are given, all the instrumentation is laid out in notation, and you would study this as if you would either in a jazz score or like a classical score, or like a musical theater orchestration score. So it's the same thing. So to summarize, these are our 5 main sources of study of VGM literature. Now, how do we analyze music of a master composer? Anyone?
I like to start with chords.
Awesome.
Yeah, see if they follow any patterns in between their tracks, like after transcribing them, see like, okay, do they use the same technique multiple times?
Yep.
Rhythm themes?
Yep.
Similar time signatures.
Yep. Yeah.
Instrumentation?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Melodic development?
Yep. Well, you guys are all experts, so I don't need to I don't need to say anything. But mainly, I kind of like to start from top to bottom. First, form. Just analyze the architecture of the piece. What is the structure? That is like the first information you should turn to, because it just clarifies everything and gives you a map of where you are in the piece. Second is harmony. What sort of harmonic devices, patterns, and specific chords is the composer using? Number 3, melody. What types of rhythms, scales, ornaments, contours are there, or like phrasal structure? And finally, arrangement. What sort of instrumentation, grooves, drum patterns, specific bass lines, and other strategies is the composer using? And sort of the last thing would, I guess, sort of be rhythm, but that's sort of incorporated in everything else. And there's a lot more stuff, but these are sort of like the main basic things that you should always keep in mind about. So, I always start with form in all of my classes, because that again is the most big picture. We should look at things from the big picture lens first, and this is sort of the notation that I came up with. It's not really it's just sort of based off of my classical studies, but I've never seen anyone sort of apply that sort of approach to video game music structures, and I use it as a way to help me understand it in a much easier way and clearer way. So we have I for intro, very straightforward. And then we have the multiple sections that come afterwards, so A, B, C, D sections. If it's the same section, obviously you're going to repeat the same letter. It's not a different section. And then we have O for outro. Not all tracks have outros. A dash for a loop point. And then T is a transitional section. So this is not it doesn't warrant a full section. It serves more of a transitional function. IA means that the intro has the same harmony as the A section. And then finally, whenever section has T superscript, that means that section is transposed to a different key, either up or down. And with these, that's basically it. And you can basically distill any structure out there into some, what I call simple forms and long forms. So simple forms are basically what you see here. There can be one section, two sections, so one section is A, two sections AB, three sections ABC, and four sections is ABCD. And not all tunes have intro sections, so that's what the parenthesized I denotes. So those are the four main categories. So right here, TA means there's intro section, a transitional section, and then an A section. And when it loops, it skips that first step and just only repeats the A section. IAB here, I mean it's here is half the section length of the A and B, which is the reference length. IABCO with a smaller intro, smaller outro. IAABCD, so there's your loop point, and then a smaller D section. And then we get to long forms. So long forms are anything that's not simple. So here, I mean, it can get pretty crazy. So I, A, B, C, D, E, as with Dummy from Undertale. I, A, B, C, D, E, F, as from Battle Champion from Pokemon. I, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, as with Alley Cat from Persona 5. I think the craziest track I've seen was I, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I think there might have been a J as well. And then there are these, the other long forms are things that are not strictly just linear and the first three examples we've seen. They have sort of strange orders that just the composers was creative with. So here we have I, A, B, C1, C2, B transpose, B transpose, A transpose, A, as with finale mint from Do Prism. And this is sort of an arch structure, so it's sort of a mirror image of each other. You can think of it as a palindrome. There's I, A, B, A, C outro, and I, A, B, C, B, A transpose, D, E, O. Yeah, but the composer's getting creative with their forms, and they're doing it very effectively. So now, let's get to some music and analysis. Our first tune is going to be Heart of Fire from Castlevania from 1986. The form of the piece is IABC, and sorry, it should be a reduction. We didn't need a reduction here. So let's hear this piece, and I'm going to explain this. There's our glissando, intro, A section, stuttering melody right here. Repeat. Very simple harmony, just one flat 6 and flat 7. And here's a 2-bar tag after the A section. And here's our B section. Also same chords. 1 flat 6, flat 7 and 5. Here's our C section. And here's a glissando again. Comes back to the A section. Okay, so I'm curious to know. So there is a contrasting section in this piece. Can anyone tell me which one that is? There's one that's more different from the other sections, in my opinion. Yeah.
So the end of A where it advances a little bit.
Possibly, but I'm thinking more in terms of melody. Yeah.
B.
Yeah, B. Why?
The melodic line keeps moving.
Yep.
It's a lot more active.
Exactly. So we have a stream of 16th notes here, and this is again the Heartfire. It's more like a Gothic inspired style. So it's drawing from Baroque writing, and so this is sort of a Vivaldi figuration with that top note right there that's sustained. So yeah, this is a more active section, and so I would call this a strong. Contrasting strong section, or strong contrasting. Yeah, contrasting strong section, or strong contrasting section. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward tune. So there you go, and also incorporates some syncopations melodically. IAB, contrasting section, harmony, so forth. Our second tune is Secret of the Forest from Chrono Trigger in 1995. Composers Yasunori Mitsuda. So now the reduction here. So we have an IA, so the intro has the same harmony as the A section, and we see 3 variations of A here. And I want you guys to pay attention. How does he vary that A section in the beginning? And then we have a contrasting B section. Tell me how it's being contrasted. Here's our intro. And this is a riff intro. Just a riff on 2 chords, G flat major 9 and F minor 9. That's called our Mitsuda lick. A prime. Here's our A prime prime. And here's our contrasting B section. These are just parallel minor chords. suspension. Amazing track, right? All right, so let's go back to our initial questions. So can anybody answer, how did he alter the A section in the second time? Yeah.
A prime seems a lot more embellished than A.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Anything else? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And can you be specific? What instrumentation did he use? Yeah.
The first A was more flute.
Yep.
Prime was piano.
Exactly. So what he's doing here, he's sort of, in the second section, he's sort of echoing what we just heard. It was strongly stated in a flute melody in the A section, and then it was just echoed like a more nostalgic sense, and a little bit more rhythmically loose. That's why you incorporate some triplets here with the piano, a lighter instrument. And how about A prime prime? What did he do there?
Really interesting chord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of different, very varied harmony, but over the same melodic structure.
Exactly.
as the first A.
Exactly. Exact same melody. It's just a pseudo, like over a different set of chords now. So how about B section? Can anyone of you tell me, would that be our strong section or a weak contrasting section? What happened there?
It's a textural change.
Yeah, it's textural change. It was just piano actually. Dun, 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 so forth. And it's just a lighter contrast. So this is actually a weak contrasting section. So this is the sort of strategies he's using, varying the melody instrument, and then there's that IA riff intro, changing harmonic rhythm. Now, third tune, Passing Through the Forest. And so this is from the soundtrack Do Prism and in 1999, and the composer's Junya Nakano. And we have the IA riff intro again, and an A section and A transposed, and then our B contrasting section. So we can reduce that to IAB. Let's give that a listen. Now it's the form chart, 6/8 time. Notice the modulations, G minor to B flat minor. Structures right here. And this black here means that there's nothing written. So this is actually a 4-bar line, and these are all 8-bar lines, consisting of a 4-bar antecedent and a 4-bar consequent. And notice the arrangement notes here, it's super clearly laid out, the whole arrangement strategies, and it involves adding and dropping layers. Also changing melody instruments. Drum layer comes in. Bass layer comes in. Guitar layer comes in. It's all just the 1 and 4 chords. It's just the guitar melody. Now we change keys and change melody instruments. Clarinet takes the melody. Here's our contrasting weak section. Harmonic rhythm also speeds up here. How's that? Pretty cool tune, huh? So these are the sort of similar strategies that were adopted. Use of a contrasting weak section. Now he's transposing a section when he gets to that second A there, so that's AT. Harmonic rhythm changes, melody changed the instrument. I riff intro and adding and dropping layers. Tune 4. Now this is a bullet hell theme, and this is the second last tune we're gonna look at. We have 5 tunes. Interception, Noisy Town. This is from the soundtrack Ketsui from 2003, and the composer is Manabu Namiki. So he's a shmup or shoot 'em up, short for shoot 'em up, and bullet hell composer. And this is the form. We can reduce this to IABC. And he repeats that C section 3 times. Yeah. Sorry, this side? Yeah. Oh, you wanted to say? Oh, yeah. You wanted to say something?
I was trying to take notes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Will we have the slides available somewhere?
Yeah, I think I could post it up somewhere. Yeah, on my website, I guess. Now that you're asking for it, yeah, I'll post it on my website. Okay, so this is tune 4, Interception, Noisy Town from Ketsui. Again, a bullet hell theme. Again, this might look scary, but it's actually really straightforward. We have a 2-bar lead-in, so that's why this is black. There's nothing written here, and then bam, we start in E minor. Mostly just a 1 chord here, 1 sus chord. I section, A section, B section, and C sections. Repeat it 3 times here. So let's give this a listen. Build-up section. B section is a build-up section. It's just 1 chord. Layer is more intense here. Back to E minor. Drop some layers as we prepare for the loop. Back to minor. Is that a fantastic piece? You guys can compose like that. And I'll show you how. Any comments, thoughts on this piece?
That was really hard.
Yeah.
The part going to E minor and the B section was like really deep.
Mm.
I thought, so as the kind of dance music artist myself, like hearing the drum and bass, trying to switch up between full time and half time, with modulating to the F sharp, because that's like E minor region, like shares a lot with F sharp line. So hearing that kind of melodic modulation.
For sure. Yeah. So a couple of techniques they're using, simple ones. Repeating a section 3 times, very straightforward, but very useful strategy. Again, we see that flat 6, flat 7, 1 progression, modulating at the build-up section B, melodically lots of dotted rhythms, and adding and dropping layers. Last tune, tune 5, Paradigm Shift. I don't know, has anyone heard this tune before? Awesome. So it's from Final Fantasy 13, 2009, and the composer is Naoshi Mizuta. Here we have an IA riff intro once again, and then we have 3 distinct sections. So I'm going to play an excerpt from our MIDI analysis.
We have 2 melodic instruments on the top, the violin and the synths, and the rest of the instruments are just the rhythm section consisting of the drums, the bass, our harmonic instrument of the string pad, and we have our string riff divided between the left and right sides. So let's give this a listen. Here's a string riff intro over a stuttering bass line.
Yeah, this is it, the riff.
Violin comes in at the A section. Now transpose up an octave. Synths take the melody in the B section over a groovy bass line.
Yeah, the bass line changes to groovier.
And here we have our suave C section.
It's almost like our chorus. So that's a little excerpt from our MIDI. Very catchy tune. It's almost serving, it's almost like a verse, pre-chorus, chorus structure.
We have 2 melodic instruments on the...
How do I skip this? Okay, so to recap, how do you analyze masterworks? Look at the form, look at the harmony, look at the melody, and look at the arrangement. Now, how do you compose like the masters? Anyone have any ideas? Yeah.
Imitate it.
Yep. Yep. Anyone else? Yeah.
Deadlines.
Deadlines. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Figuring out like why they use certain techniques where.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I would specifically just start saving a lot of the chords and I transcribe it and put them into like a folder of MIDI files with specifically those chords. So that way I can kind of remember, oh, these are actually chord progressions that I could use at this point, not just simple triads with these more complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, back on the chords, one thing that almost all of them did was using very modal chords, just jumping out of the key for like a moment. Like when it went from that one with the break beats that went from 1 sus4 to a 6 minor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So, this is what I think. Use the same recipe and the same ingredients. Going back to our analogy with cooking. So how do you compose in the style of a composer? Really, everything we looked at. Form, what kind of structures does your favorite composer like? Harmony, what harmonic devices and patterns does your favorite composer like? What specific chords are they using? Melody, the rhythm, scales, ornaments, shapes, melodic contours. Finally, arrangement. The instrumentation, grooves, drum patterns, specific bass lines, and other strategies. So basically, everything we did with analysis. So again, composing equals cooking. That's our magical formula of the day. Here's step 1, transcribe, as some of you mentioned. Transcribing means you're replicating a dish like exactly. Step 2, model. You make a new dish inspired by an existing recipe with a little bit more originality now, but not totally. You're still basing it off of an existing recipe. Step 3, compose. You create your own unique dish. How to compose like the masters. Step 1, transcribe the masters. So this is I have my students do all kind of transcriptions. The first method is a lead sheet transcription. So this is a lead sheet transcription of Silent Hill 3. Method 2, sheet music transcription. So you're doing fully notated transcription right now. And then harmonic transcriptions. You can transcribe the harmony, all laid out here. That's from Octopath Traveler. Method 4, form chart transcription. That's a new one, so I want to see some form charts out there after this talk. This one's from Pokemon. Finally, method 5, full-on MIDI transcriptions, which I'm sure some of you have tried at some point. This is a transcription of Nebula Gray from Mega Man Battle Network 5. That's a little snippet. And this is from, this is Battle with Meta Knight from Kirby Superstar. Yeah, I have some pretty talented students. All right, so these are the 5 sort of, I guess, methods of transcriptions you can try out at home. Lead sheet transcription, sheet music transcription, harmonic transcription, form chart transcription, and MIDI transcription. All right, so step 1 is transcribe the masters. Step 2, model the masters and learn their tools. So this is how you model. You use an existing work as a template or recipe. So in this first example here, my student modeled the dew prism piece that we were just listening to in the analysis portion of this talk. I'm hoping this will sound familiar once we listen to it. But he's sticking to the exact form, but just using the exact same arrangement, exact form, just using it as a template. So he changed up the melody and he replaced some of the instrument, the specific arranging lines, like the riffs. But otherwise, it's harmonically it's the same. So he was writing a contrafact of Passing Through the Forest. So let's listen to that. Here's his new melody. Here's our key change again. Pretty cool, huh? Anyone notice like similarities and differences versus the model versus the original? Anything? Yeah.
So one difference, if I remember right, the original had the flute as kind of a drawn out melody first, and then But this has the plucking in the first, and then the clarinet comes in with a long run out.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
One difference and similarity of is that they both kept the clarinet for the transposed A section, but whereas the original had like that crazy constant line, this clarinet mode is a little bit more laid back.
Yeah, yeah. So we're learning with, again, he's using this recipe idea. He's creating his own dish with an existing recipe, but using his own sort of take on things. Model 2. This is actually my model from actually 2 years ago when I started figuring all this out myself. So this is a model of the Interception and Clamorous Town track that we just listened to earlier by Manabu Namiki. So here, yeah, I'm curious to hear what you. So obviously the chord changes actually are different now. This was not a contrafact. My harmony has changed, but notice. See if you can notice any similarities and differences. So here's our. I did not do the lead-in. There we go. All right. So here's the model that I did 2 years ago. All right. So pay attention to the harmonic progression and arrangement and so forth. Obviously not the same chords. Second I. A section. Drop the beats. Here's our beat section that's supposed to be building. Third C section. Second time. Third time, third C. How's that? Pretty successful, huh? First time composing anything that long, actually, for me. Any comments and thoughts? Oh, really? I didn't catch that.
I would turn down the lead by 1 octave because that was way too high pitched.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to out?
Just a couple. If you're following a model, it's very efficient. It's a recipe. You don't need to invent your own recipe, right? Yeah.
I was really impressed by like how well you captured the same vibe even with all the different chord changes.
Exactly.
The B section got really smooth and yet really similar even though you were
Yeah.
like every couple.
I know. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I was proud of that section. Never written chord progressions like that before, but I was trying to nail that that vibe. All right. So now that we've learned how to model the work of a master, now it's time to use the tools of a master. First, use the formal ideas of a master, so which we kind of covered, which is basically what you do when you were the first two examples, just modeling like really closely. Number 2, use the harmonic ideas of a master. Number 3, use the melodic ideas of a master. Finally, use the arrangement ideas of a master. So here's how you write harmonies in the style of a master. You could copy the exact chord progressions and write melodies over it, so literally just taking their chords. You could also incorporate a specific chord they use particularly that you might not often see and incorporate into your own chord progression. And you could write a chord progression inspired by your favorite composers, as I did with the last track. So this is an example of student work writing a chord progression inspired by Yasunori Mitsuda. How's that?
Changes.
Yeah, sounds reminiscent of Mitsuda, right? Writing melodies in the style of a master, well, use the exact elements that your favorite composer uses. The same melodic devices: syncopations, rhythms, note values, contours, rest, intervals, tempos, scales, or modes. Now, this is an example of so I was composing a track for my Cat Strats soundtrack, which is literally a sci-fi futuristic cat strategy game, and I was trying to write this upbeat electronic soundtrack. So I got stuck on my final section, and I was like, I don't know what sort of melody is going to work for this. So I turned to a master to help me figure this out. And this is a melody snippet from Shinju Heading to the Forest from Mushihime-sama. So rest, do, 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 and sort of a descending line, rest, do, do, that's sort of the phrase, and you're gonna hear that. I mean, it's a pretty close rip-off, but it's different, okay? Oh yeah, it's minor, so that's why it's new. Lastly, use the arrangement ideas of a master. Copy their bass lines, copy their drum patterns, copy their instrumentation approaches. So in our Secret of the Forest example, remember how we had the A section in a clarinet, or was it flute, and then it was echoed in a more improvised manner by the piano? Well, that's exactly what I did for my menu theme for the my A Million Trees soundtrack. Here's the melody. Piano part, echoing what we just heard. Yeah. So, how to model, to summarize. Use the music of masters as a template, use their harmonic ideas, use their melodic ideas, and use their arrangement ideas. Now that we've learned how to compose music using their tools, how do you create your own unique style? Well, you create your own recipes with your own favorite ingredients. This is an example of my student. After doing the Do Prisms transcription, he kind of got inspired and used some techniques into his own piece. Sort of riff intro, the guitar. section. It's more of a weak section. Oops. That's a snippet. He also transposes later on. Here's a little snippet of that. He transposes to a new here. What were some techniques that were used? I think I said them already, but here are the tunes that were used that we saw in the analysis tunes that we looked at. An IA riff intro, IABC, changing melody instrument, transposing a section, and adding dropping layers. Finally, this is an example of a track where I sort of used all the ingredients of my favorite composers. This is my Cat Strats soundtrack. It's IAABABCCDDD. So an outro. Let's give that a listen. These are all the moves that I stole from Masashi Hamauzu, Manabu Namiki, and Junya Nakano. This is just a fusion of the three composers. Here's the intro section. And this chord progression was inspired by Masashi Hamauzu's piano work, so just doodling on the piano, trying to capture that feeling. Modulated after the A section, an intro section. It's a new key now. That's a move that I stole from Manabu Namiki. Here's our B section now. And I'm going to incorporate a common tone chord that I hear a lot. That chord. Back to the A section. And I'm just repeating it once this time because it'd be too long to play it twice. Back to the B section. Now I'm modulating up as with the example that we saw by Namiki. And he had a very, he was just staying on the one chord. So I also did that too, but with a little bit of modification, moving a little bit. It's just a one chord for the most part. Here's the D section. And I stole one chord from Masashi Hamauzu, that chord. That chord. And I'm just going to repeat this 3 times like Manabu Namiki. Now with the melody added in. D section, I use Nakano's syncopated chord rhythms with Namiki's snare patterns. That's the snare. Exactly the same. And I use this bubbly outro idea, segueing back to the intro. Yep. So, yeah, pretty neat, huh? In summary, how do we compose like the masters? Step 1, transcribe the masters. Step 2, model the masters and learn their tools. Step 3, compose like the masters, and hopefully become a master yourself so others will transcribe you. All right, so thank you everybody for listening. This is my talk. Just want to shout out my website. If you want to join my mailing list and get updates for upcoming courses, I'm teaching boot camps, other courses, or actually on-demand version of my boot camp too. If you're interested in that sort of thing, getting more in depth in this stuff, sign up for my mailing list. Just scroll down to my boot camp page and join the mailing list, and everybody here is going to get, who signs up through my mailing list will get a discount for any future. Registrations, courses, whatever, anything I'm doing. I'm doing a Touhou course on Touhou, boot camp stuff, etc. Also, I am also teaching the Introduction to Japanese Video Game Music Analysis and Composition at the Southeast Asia Music Academy online, and it's the class starts this Friday. So what better timing? So if you wanted to get into this stuff, by all means enroll, and it's at a very discounted price because we're targeting people in Southeast Asia, so it's very affordable. So if you want to, if you're interested, enroll in this class, and you'll get to study all that with me. It's 4 sessions, each class 90 minutes long. And here is my contact info. So thank you very much for coming and listening to this talk. I hope you all will become masters of Japanese video game music composition. Thank you very much.